Welcome to the dedication of Winton Hill. My name is Matthew Damschoter. I'm the Vice President for Student Life and Dean of Students here. I'm fairly new to the community, and so it's an honor to be invited to speak at this event and to recognize this space for what it is becoming as a symbol and sort of a function of our institution, as well as for the generosity of our donors, for the well-being of our students. And so I was invited to welcome you to make some remarks to sort of share how I think this space, how we have conceptualized this space in terms of the way that it will serve students in our community. And it's easy to see that it is not just a small impact that Winton Hill is having here at Juniata. It is the home of our soccer teams, our tennis teams, our lacrosse teams, sports that are intrinsically valuable to the student experience here at Juniata. We bring our student athletes to our campus, and through their participation in their sport, they develop critical skills that accompany their curricular aspirations, right? We develop leaders, we develop problem solvers, we develop folks who work well in teams, who make a difference, who understand that it takes more than one person to see the results that they desire. That's powerful education that comes out of involvement. Beyond kind of the formal teams that this complex will serve, though, the impact is far, far reaching. We have club sports that will take activity up here and participate under the lights during the daytime. This facility, this field is full of students all the time, and it's exciting to see that level of connection. We also see and will see a growing demand from the community, right? It's important for us as an institution to contribute to Huntingdon and to help grow this space. We have community members that will come out and take part, that enjoy the facilities that we provide here. The community, our local high schools are engaging here. We have summer camps and conferences that will help us to meet our recruitment goals and help students to achieve their aspirations. It's just exciting, the promise and the potential that a dream realized by the construction of this space can have. It also serves as a front door and a doorstep to our campus from the community as people transition in. It's one of the first things that folks see on Cold Springs Road. And it's beautiful and inviting, and maybe ask people to ask a little bit more of Juniata. What do we do? What are we about? And so it is with pleasure that I welcome you, that we dedicate this space for all that it is, right? All the many purposes that it serves. When I first visited campus in April, this was one of the first pieces of that visit that I took part in, was the groundbreaking for this facility. And I remember standing up here and seeing some of the people that were investing in what Juniata could be. And I saw shovels breaking the earth, and I had really no idea what this space would become. I'm not a good conceptualizer of plans, so I had seen a few pictures. And then over the summer and the ensuing months, as the space took shape, it became real. And as students took the field, it became real and exciting. And then to see students compete here, to really grow their skills and abilities here, it is, I think, quickly become something that we depend on, a part of the campus that some of us think, how did we ever live without this? What did we do before this? Right? And so it's, I think, a powerful testament on many levels to what it means to be a prideful eagle, to sort of celebrate the promise and potential of Juniata. We have some students that I want to introduce to you, and they're going to speak about their involvement and experiences here. Lauren Lucas is one of our women's tennis team members from Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania. Lauren, exceptionally talented, was the landmark Rookie and Player of the Year, also named to the first team in May 2016. We also have Stephen Gutzloff. Stephen is a senior captain of our men's soccer team, and so I'd like to invite Lauren and Stephen to come and make some comments as well.
Hi, my name is Lauren Lucas, and I'm from the class of 2019, and my POE is Museum Studies. To some, these 6 new tennis courts may appear to be a nice addition to Juniata, or a great view from Nathan Hall. But to me and the people here today, they are more than just 6 courts. These courts are a physical symbol of Juniata's dedicated and extremely generous alumni. Because of their kindness and devotion to the ongoing advancements to Juniata College, the tennis team now has our own courts, all in one area, so we can cheer on both the men's and women's tennis teams. These tennis courts are a great opportunity for our teams to be together, because together, as one, we are greater than fragmented. Spectators may underestimate the power of their applause or cheering, but to the players on the court, this is the source of motivation and drive. With the courts all in one area, our teams will be able to cheer for each other, together, and hopefully conquer some of the greatest teams in the conference. But none of this could have been made possible without the generosity of the alumni who have given back and have made Juniata College an incredible place. Juniata truly works together with current and past students to create opportunities, not just in athletics, but in building a community that reaches far beyond the physical boundaries of Juniata. Thank you.
And I'm a member of the Juniata men's soccer team and part of the class of 2017. I am from Schnecksville, Pennsylvania, and my POE is Environmental Economics with a secondary emphasis in investing. On behalf of the Juniata men's soccer team and the entire Juniata College community, I want to say thank you and express our gratitude toward the Brumbaugh, Gibbels, Raffenbergers, and Shriners. The generosity that you have shown towards Juniata by providing funding for the Winton Hill Athletic Complex is very special to the entire Juniata community. Your contributions will have a positive impact on Juniata athletics and athletes' lives for years and years to come. I also want to say thank you to President Troja for overseeing this project and making the vision of Winton Hill Athletic Complex a reality. This complex is adding a special piece to the already beautiful Juniata campus. To all those that support the Juniata men's soccer team, it is greatly appreciated and does not go unnoticed. I want to thank the athletic training staff, Jeff, Doty, Megan, and Donnie, for keeping us on the field and for getting us back on the field as soon as possible. To the parents of the men's soccer team, thank you for always supporting us and encouraging us to be the best that we can be. I want to say a special thank you to my parents, Patty and Dave, for all that they have done for me and always supporting me. Soccer has been a center part of my life since I was 3 years old. I have an unbelievable love and passion for the game. Through soccer, I have learned life lessons, made my best friends, and have developed skills that are critical to success in life. Being a part of the Juniata men's soccer team under the guidance of Coach Du Bois, Coach Mumford, Coach Betting, and Coach Miller has taught me so much. I have learned leadership skills, how to deal with success and failure, and how being a part of a team always means having the back of your teammates no matter the situation. I cannot think of a better coaching staff to coach at this facility so that they can continue teaching the game of soccer, principles of life, and so they can continue developing student athletes into mature young adults that are ready to be successful in life post-graduation. The Winton Hill Athletic Complex is a symbol of a great past and an even brighter future for Juniata College and Juniata athletics. Thank you again to everyone who supports Juniata College and Juniata athletics.
I should know this by now, but every time we have students speak before me, I always feel like I will never live up to what our students convey in their thoughts, because they are the lived experience of this place in which we work. In many cases we live, but they live it. They truly live it, and it comes across in their words. So Lauren, Stephen, thank you very much for your remarks today. This is the first time for me to be down here on the field looking up at stands that are full of alumni and friends, former students, trustees, Juniata's former president, Tom and Pat Keppel. I have witnessed almost weekly this space evolve. I too, Matthew, remember when we put a shovel in the ground right behind this facility, and little did I know that it would look like what it does now. I am amazed what has transpired here over the past several months, and I know we will all enjoy what will happen in this space. As you just heard from our students, the impact of the facility, I would say, is deep and very wide. And when we conceptualized this, we knew that the impact had to have breadth. It couldn't just be about our athletic teams. Yes, it will help enrollment. We believe it will help the competitiveness of our teams. But we wanted it to reach to the broader Huntington community. And we hope that that transpires over the next several years. The quality of play, recreation for our non-athletes, to put the lights on, to throw a frisbee, to play flag football here. The quality of the fan experience that's already been referenced. This is a great vantage point to see a game, to see our Juniata Eagles compete. Women's lacrosse. Is Naomi out there somewhere? So, women's lacrosse, we have hired a coach. We are participating in what is termed as a club sport this year, and we'll begin landmark play in the fall of 2017. And Naomi Radio's back there. Raise your hand. We are launching women's lacrosse in a big and powerful way, and they too will be utilizing this facility. But make no mistake about it, and students, I know you know this better than I, that the buildings you study in and take courses in, where you sleep, where you eat, all is provided by alumni and friends that have come before you. And this facility today, we are fortunate, you are fortunate. You don't yet know, but you will look back 25 years from now and think about this moment where you met the people that has their name on this stadium. You don't know the Sherwoods and the Sunderlands, Beagleys. But guess what? The benefactors, the donors that have made this possible are here with us right now. And you're going to hear from them in just a moment. I want to quickly introduce them. So we have Dan and Karen Raffensberger, right here. Carl and Pat Schreiner. And of course, Henry and Joni Gibbel. And Sam and Martha Broombaugh, graduates 54, weren't able to be with us today, but in their stead, their grandchildren, Catherine and Matthew, graduates of 2016, are sitting right in the front row. Raise your hand, stand up so we can say thank you to all of you. We are grateful. We are appreciative of gifts like this. As Matthew already referenced, this space for me is a connector. It connects people, it connects entities, it connects sports, it connects the curricular and co-curricular moment, providing the breadth of learning that we talk about, that we provide our students. And this is the reality of it. And just recently, just this past week, an article in the Wall Street Journal talked about graduates, and particularly graduates of liberal arts schools like Juniata, that provide the kind of attributes and characteristics that employers are looking for today. And guess what they cite? Leadership, teamwork, passion for what you do, the qualities that they want for today's graduates. This space today that we are dedicating provides all of that opportunity, not just for our student athletes, but for every Juniata student. And I know I speak on behalf of all of our students, our faculty, our staff, and alumni, to all of you for helping make this possible. Thank you so much. This time I'd like to introduce Dan Raffensberger, class of 1956, to say a few things.
Wow. Now, class of 1956, that means in 1952 we showed up here at the campus. There were 2 tennis courts, nice clay tennis courts, right in the center of the campus. There were 4 hard surface courts near the outside of the campus. Lots of action on the tennis courts. Juniata College had no tennis team. No tennis team. Now, maybe it was because I was a freshman or someone talked me into it. I decided to go over to visit President Ellis and ask him whether we can have a tennis team. He was very gracious. I got right into his office. He said, let me think about that a moment. And then he said, all right, I'll buy all the tennis balls. You get the guys together and we'll have a tennis team. Things were simpler then. Did you notice, Henry? No board approval was necessary for that. So, we, let's see, where was I here? Also, President Ellis did much more than that, than buy the balls. He appointed one of his administrators, Dean Penny, to manage us, get us together, and to create a schedule for us. So in the spring of 1953, Juniata had tennis again. We played teams like Pitt, Penn State, Carnegie Tech. Thank God we played Elizabethtown College and Dickinson. But we did all right. Our overall, the last 4 years was about 62% winning. We had a great number 1 player. He was good, and he won most of his matches. And we had a secret weapon. We had a woman on our team. Did you hear me say that? In the 50s, we had a woman on our tennis team. She was a player, and she won some matches, and she won several matches, maybe 2 or 3, by default, because the opposing team refused to play against her. Times have changed. Ray Frogner, whom you may know, was my doubles partner. I expected to say a few stories about Ray. I was so sorry to learn recently that he passed away. But I want to thank today all of you students, and I want to thank President R, and I want to thank Winton Hill. Where's Winton Hill? Did I meet him yet? Pass on my thanks to Winton Hill. This is incredible. I know you kids will make it worthwhile and enjoy it. And good luck to you in the coming seasons. Thank you.
Carl Schreiner, and if you look at the program, make sure you get a copy of this program because, Carl, you've got a lot to live down in some of your quotes in this reference to your beautiful wife there, Pat. We'll talk about these later. I want to hear about some of those stories. Carl Schreiner.
Those who really know me and really know my Juniata experience knows that there is a lot to live down, an awful lot. Fortunately, people don't keep records that well anymore. But when I walk around this school which, by the way, my brother was in Dan's class, Phil Schreiner. He was a chemist, so nobody knew him. But Pat and I arrived on this campus a year apart over 50 years ago, and it wasn't quite the same place. But after we got here, we realized that our lives were now being changed forever. Juniata changes lives, and you can't put your finger on why and how, but it happens. And then you start understanding the Juniata family, you start understanding the bonds of the Juniata alumni, our closeness to administration. Needless to say, one of my closest relationships when I was here was with Dean Heberling, the Dean of Men's Students. But we had many meaningful moments. But what obviously not even obviously, Pat obviously earned her degree. And to the amazement of many, I also joined that list of Juniata alumni. But it wasn't only a matter of getting a degree. Juniata instilled in us the importance of service, of serving your fellow man. And over the years, Pat and I have both been active in our community, our church, and our alma mater. Because we were taught this is what Juniatians do. Juniatians think, evolve, act. We didn't say it that way then, but it's always been what Juniatians do. Neither Pat nor I were college athletes, but with us today are my son Kurt, who played football for Washington and Lee, his sons Adam and Matthew. Adam played with distinction as the kicker for Elon University. Matthew played soccer for Lehigh University with Henry and Joni's grandson. So the Juniata family, you can't get away from it. When we went to the first Lehigh home game and we look up and see this Juniata shirt, I said, well, this has to be something meaningful. And so for many years, we saw Ryan playing with Matt. Adam's wife, Justine, was a soccer player in Canada where she grew up. So although Pat and I have not been athletes, our family recognizes the value of athletics. And having had most of my speech taken by the previous speakers, starting with Matt, you start getting out your red pen. Okay, not saying that, and then the rest of them go. Henry will have nothing left when I'm done. But our family does recognize the value of athletics, and we all also recognize that God has blessed us all very richly. God's an important part of this campus, part of its foundation. And Juniata is an important part of our lives. So on behalf of our entire family, Pat and I are honored to make our gift to this athletic facility that will benefit Juniata varsity and intramural athletes for many years to come. These athletes are prepared to go into the world to make a difference because of what they have learned here at Juniata. Because making a difference is what Juniatians do. So to all of you, make a difference. Thank you.
Finally, we are going to hear from Mr. Gibbel, Henry Gibbel, his wife Joni to his left, and the name that adorns the stadium in which we sit. Thank you, Henry and Joni, for all that you have done to make this a reality. Henry?
I just had my sermonette for tomorrow. I'm going to be flying to Vancouver. And Carl, you did a nice job. Winton Hill Sports Complex, I think it represents one thing, a fantastic moment. And it was mentioned years from now, you'll remember this fantastic moment that we're observing. And to think we just gathered here 5 months ago and broke ground, and look at this facility today. And this gentleman, our president, had a lot to do with pushing the project forward, and it is a great facility. I appreciate the remarks of Matthew, very well stated. To Lauren, a great tennis player, and supporting the tennis program, which is very much a part of this complex. And Steve, for his remarks on behalf of the men and the women. They were here for the groundbreaking, and they're here today, and they're both going to be participating, the women at 1 o'clock and the men at 3:30. And the soccer and the tennis team, women's tennis team, at 1 o'clock. In my life, I've had many friends, and it's many Juniata friends, and Dan Raffensberger was one of them 60 years ago. Seems like a long time, but it was a quick journey. And then to Carl, 50 years ago. And last week at the football game, there was a class of 5 of your classmates were there at Gettysburg, of the class of 55, 56. Everywhere you go, you meet Juniatians. I'm pleased the presence of my son, a Juniatian. He's in Vancouver, where I'm going to be tomorrow. But my daughter, Kathy Jo, is here. Kathy Jo, stand up. And her husband, Jim. I'll mention Jim is with Derck Edson, the land designers of this facility. We appreciate that. And you know, my family's a soccer family, and Kathy Jo's and Jim's their oldest, the son, Andrew Wenger. He's going to be on television tonight at 9 o'clock. The Houston Dynamos and the MLS, they pay the Portland Trailblazers. And tomorrow they'll be in Washington with Georgetown. He's 8-1. They're going to be playing there, and she's a soccer player, center deep, and they're 8-1, and they only lost one game at the little school we heard from the West Coast, Stanford. So it. And my other daughter, Kathy Mary Beth Petrundo, and her husband, as Carl mentioned, played 4 years at Lehigh, and they won the Patriot League last year. Her son. And the youngest daughter came up to me last night at the football game and said, "Papa, I'm going to Juniata in 2 weeks." The reason he mentioned Neoma radio, before she came on staff here, she was at a tournament, a lacrosse tournament in Richmond, Virginia. Over 100 teams there. She was recruiting already. And didn't she run into this Talia Bertrando? And Talia never mentioned her ties with Juniata. She actually knew more about Juniata than Neoma did at that point. But she was out looking for talent for lacrosse, which is going to be clubbed this year. But I mention this because of this great facility here that we have at Juniata now. That'll be a great place for recruiting students too. And you get then high school teams playing here at the end of the season, championship games, and exposing Juniata to as many students as possible for the future. So I'd just like to say one thing, that Joni and I have a joy in giving this complex, this soccer complex, because it's something special in our life, and we're happy to do it. And we just wish everybody the very best in our soccer, tennis teams for a successful season this year. And thanks for being present for this actual dedication, for this, I call it just a fantastic moment. Thank you.
Let's have a roar from the stands for our donors, our benefactors, our philanthropists and supporters of Juniata. One final time. That's pretty good.
Hey, there you go.
We don't do this every day. We already mentioned our architect. Jim's here. Contractors, builders, folks who made this facility possible. Please stand so we can recognize you. I know there are some people out there. Where's Jason, who helped here, and Jim? And thank you very much for making this a reality. Thank you. So let me just conclude by saying our work is not done here. While we have had some very generous gifts of support, this facility is not concluded. And so the challenge to all of you, and I wouldn't be a president, right, Tom, if I didn't raise the issue that we are not done fundraising for this facility yet. And if you're interested in support, whether they are seats in our bleachers, courts that still can be bought, space, locker rooms, lockers, talk to the Juniata alumni and friends. We want them to be a part of the facility so we can make this an even better facility than it already is. We continue to look for help from our Juniata friends and alumni. So with that said, thank you once again for making time today to celebrate with us this opening here at Winton Hill. And good luck to our teams, and enjoy the rest of homecoming. Thanks for being here.